So before we get started with any type of content where I try to let you in on my perspective, which will obviously be highly influenced by my personal worldview, I think that it is important to give you a basic theoretical idea of the views my personal understanding of the world is based on. There are a few fundamental concepts which humans have different opinions on and influence every aspect of our human experience. As mentioned in another video, the human experience is way too complex to fully grasp by any given theory at this point in time, so that I can only give you small pieces in the hope of one day offering enough to hint at the general structure of my person and the human experience in general. So when I do these videos, where I share parts of my personal belief system, my intention is to introduce you to the concepts on which my experience is based on. I offer you my perspectives to these fundamental ideas and help you understand where I come from when I give you practical examples of this adventure we all are exposed to, called life. Even though I only lived during this millennium, I was already subjected to a lot of difficulties, which on the other hand usually were connected to a lot of very positive experiences. I personally believe to have grown a strong resilience adopting a worldview which had been forged by these experiences. That's why I believe that sharing my perspective and knowledge can be quite beneficial for a lot of people. Today I'm going to start telling you about my idea of the meaning/purpose of life, a topic that can significantly influence your satisfaction by determining your personal goals and give you a sense of purpose. There are very different approaches to this topic, but today I'm going to tell you how I have answered this philosophical question. Over the years, I had different ideas of the so-called purpose of life. There were times when this concept was part of my mental struggles. But today, it is a great resource for my personal challenges. At the moment, I believe that every single person has a purpose, but you can only experience it if you maintain a very mindful way of experiencing the world. I don't believe in chance. I believe that most things happen with a purpose and we are just objects in a story we cannot comprehend. There are a lot of situations in life where I just couldn't believe that this just happened completely at random. Things which just add up a little too perfect. These are the situations in which I believe your purpose is shown. The reason you are where you are and who you are in these situations seems to be too coincidental. There might be an overarching cause for where, who and how you are, but it only manifests in these small situations, which might have a greater impact overall. Similar to the determination theory, I believe that one does not have a lot of control over one's purpose. In contrast, I don't believe that everything you do is determined, but I also believe that you don't need to do anything purposefully to fulfill your purpose. Your purpose will be a self-fulfilling prophecy unbeknownst to you. You don't even need to recognize it, but you can if you are mindful enough. As an example, I would describe myself as an altruistic person because of my upbringing, and in situations where I am able to actually help a stranger out with something, I believe that I was put there for a reason. You could say I was used by destiny for its purpose. I personally believe this philosophy proven by my interpretation of the day-to-day situations, and I will also show you examples of these situations in the future. This concept of the meaning of life combines two very beneficial expectations. First, regarding your own expectations, you don't need to do anything to fulfill your purpose. No one is able to know it, and thus not able to hold you responsible for it, not even yourself. And second, everyone has a purpose, even people who are full of hatred or people who cause atrocities, and especially you. Beliefs connected to this idea are: without dark, there can be no light, without evil, there can be no good, or the darkest moments create the brightest lights, and many more, which are as equally important as the idea of purpose, so that they deserve their own video. For example, the mention build, which I believe has no suiting translation. It describes the general concept one has of people, which is quite important for my career as a psychologist and can change the way you see the world dramatically. Just now, as I am writing the script whilst riding the train, one part of the train was left behind due to technical issues, so that the same amount of people now have to share the space made for only half of them. This might be a setup by destiny which is yet to be understood, which most of the time is only possible in retrospect. So let's see what happens. I hope this perspective gives you something to reflect about. Of course, most people already answered these questions for themselves, but maybe you haven't, or you are open for inspiration in this regard. I believe my beliefs to be beneficial for most people, but as hinted at, this is something which is usually based on experience, so I don't know if this is suitable for you. Feel free to share what you think about it in the comments.